How you doing, folks? Welcome this morning. Our interview today is with Seán Fox. And just to remind you all, we're also live on TikTok. Um, this is in association with Menswear 46 on Dawson Street, who the lads have been very, Richie, Gary and Ruth have been fantastic in supporting them this season of the podcast. And we're trying to do as many interviews as we can in-house. So if you look on TikTok, we're live. You can pop down and even talk to Seán about the stuff that we're going to talk about. If you're looking at this yesterday, we're not here. And you're looking at it tomorrow, we're not here. Okay? Just so you don't get confused. Seán, welcome on board.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time. So, Seán has an amazing story. And we're going to dive into it in a few minutes. Seán is the CEO. He's the founder of Goosey Goo. Goosey Goo. I remember the song years ago, Goosey Gander.
Yeah.
But just before we jump into it, the first thing we always ask people, Seán, what was your first summer job?
Handing out leaflets around town for District 8.
District 8? What was District 8?
District 8 was a nightclub in the Tivoli Theatre.
Oh, right, okay.
And that was a long time ago.
And how old were you when doing that?
14, 15.
Right, that was your first job.
Yeah, a friend of mine's stepfather used to run it.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you got the few bob for the summer, for the holidays.
Yeah. I think it only lasted a couple of weeks.
Did it? And did you have many summer jobs?
Not really. True skill. I self-taught myself graphic design.
Right.
So
Okay.
I learned Photoshop when I was about 11 years old. The same videos on YouTube.
Right. Okay.
Got onto my ma's laptop. Gave it every virus in.
Everybody did.
Downloading. Illicitly downloading the programs, and I started a kind of side hustle then through that, just getting odd jobs here and there, doing YouTube graphic design and stuff like that.
Okay.
For, early stage influencers. I've done some design for Rob Lipsy.
What's that?
He's a fitness influencer. He's fairly big.
Right, okay. Yeah.
I've done some design for another guy, Aaron Smith. He's another PT. I was big into
Right,
him
okay.
back then, so I kind of saw the niche and
you went out. So even then you were working for yourself. Even then you had the entrepreneurial bug to go out and do something for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay. Now Seán's story is different than a lot of other people, because around the end of 2023, isn't that right? You got misdiagnosed, which is important, what you thought was mouth cancer.
Which a squamous cell carcinoma is what it was.
So no, I can't say that because I'm dyslexic, and if
I
say that word,
it
probably
it's
a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
So you had a job, you were in a job that you loved, you call it your dream job, right?
Yeah.
And so you did the right thing, went back and said to your boss, look, I might be off for a little while sick, I have to get treatment, as a lot of people do. But because you went there 6 months.
Yeah, I had only moved from, it was a year and a half in Nissan prior. I've always worked for car garages and stuff
like
that.
Okay. And is that your joy, working for cars?
Passion, yeah.
Right, okay.
No cars inside now. I can tell you what an engine is by listening to it, all that sort of thing.
Right, okay, very good. Yeah.
I seem to have a thing with numbers as well, reg plates, part numbers, all of that. Just
I have to say, even though I'm dyslexic, I've always been able to do accounts in my head. So I can do a P&L account within about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And if you give me the figures, and I'm usually about 99.9%, which is great. So if you have the numbers thing, even working for yourself. So you were in Nissan for a year and a half. So if you hadn't have left them,
so it was a better opportunity. So we had Éabha, my little girl, in July 2023.
Yeah.
And I was working for Nissan at that point. I'd been working with them for about a year prior. And an opportunity came up to move to another garage, which I'm not going to say.
No, you don't need to name.
I'm not going to start.
No, you put that in your memoirs.
It was a better paid job.
Yeah.
It was a half day on a Friday.
Fantastic.
So getting a bit early on Friday.
Yeah, you have baby.
Can't say no, you know.
Look after little one, bring it.
And I got into the job, loved it. The guys there loved me. I had great crack. I was good at the job. I was doing parts. So, like I said, reg numbers, part numbers, all of that.
Yes,
you knew great. I knew where everything was. I knew the jobs, but I'll say, well, that was 11D 2369 or something like that.
Yeah, very good.
I knew the job.
Yeah,
and everything was going swimmingly. It was great. Stared every day. They loved me. I loved them. And a lump grew out of my mouth within the space of about a month.
Right.
I'd always kind of got this little kind of, it felt like a scar or something.
Yeah.
And in November I had it just kind of ballooned out of
Right,
nowhere, like
okay.
really quick.
Alarm bells
And
went off.
then it was hanging out of my mouth when I was speaking. You could see it the whole time.
Okay,
I was waking up in the morning. There was blood gushing out about all of that sort of thing.
okay.
And I just said one day we had an appointment for Éabha. She has the eczema, so we were bringing her to a skin specialist. That wasn't until 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I said, look, we'll have the day off. We'll go down and sort
Without
out
the
mouth
A&E.
cancer
Yeah.
screening. And we didn't go to A&E. It was a dentist.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
Yeah, it
Dentists
was
that make
a dentist. A
misdiagnosis.
dentist do
Right.
the mouth cancer. I thought mouth, go to the dentist.
Right, okay. Well,
And they
I would
offered
have
a
thought that
screen.
as well. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that as well. Now,
So
compared to.
I went in, I sat down, and your man had his back turned to me, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, so what's going on?" We all had details. He turned around and he goes, "Gives it a," and he kind of went, his face dropped, and he goes,
I don't know what. Yeah.
but
3 days left.
yeah, that's it. And he goes, "Mate, not to worry." He goes, "But that's mouth cancer." He goes,
So you're just looking at it.
looking at it.
No test done,
Yeah.
no nothing.
Now, I was like, yeah, with no test done, no nothing.
Right,
Right?
okay.
And now, obviously, I was already extremely worried.
Well, of course you would be, yeah.
Yeah,
Something that's grown, you're thinking.
It's more so since I had the baby.
Always think the worst.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have occurred
Yeah,
if it wasn't for I had a baby. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't really care about much until I had me family.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and then it was such a big thing for me because I didn't have a great father growing up.
Right, okay.
So it was such a big thing for me then having my own little girl, making sure that I was everything that I didn't have.
Right,
And then I
okay.
was like 6 months old, and now here I am. And then when I went home then.
And you Google it, of course.
Of course I Googled it.
Google it. And
And then I was terminal.
Yeah, of course you were,
He was
yeah.
telling me, and I was looking at pictures, and they
I give you the telephone number for Stafford's funeral home just so you have a boot. Yeah.
I was ringing up insurance companies and all before I had gotten a proper diagnosis, just
Have
so
life insurance in place just in case for
just
this
in
one.
case before I got a proper
Right.
diagnosis or anything, just so that there was
Yeah.
something there, because we didn't have much, as I had said prior to that. I went through my own kind of journey and battles with addiction and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, like, we never put anything behind me. I never thought I was going to have
Well, not that.
someone that was
What was we then?
going through addiction or
What was when you got diagnosed?
24.
So so at 24, the last thing you think about is life insurance. The last thing you think about
Well,
is
this is
anything
it.
like
And
that.
I'd only started my journey probably when I found out that I was having Éabha, and after my father had passed away, I was like, right, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, because my father was a similar way, but I was, and I was like, that's not going to be the life that my daughter grows
Yeah,
up with.
you're gonna be
And I'd always knew that in my own head from growing up, from when I was this way.
Right,
I
okay.
always knew that I was going to be a great father.
Right, okay.
You know, it
Yeah.
was just something that it always kind of hit home. And it only started, like, I'd only really got on track. And, I was keeping down jobs. I'd got my dream job. I had my family. I had a gorgeous little girl, a gorgeous partner.
So you're on the straight and narrow.
Everything was going
addiction
great.
more or less behind you.
Yeah.
And you cleaned yourself up, and things family started going the right way.
You're going great.
Living somewhere nice, and then you decided, okay, doing the right thing. I'm going to tell the boss that I may be off for a bit of
He
time.
was who we rang first. When I got out, I was driving at the time. I was driving up until I was homeless, and I went out, got in the car, and I was like a stun grenade went off my head. It was like I'd ringing in my ears, and I didn't know. I was just like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah. And who do you ring?
And obviously, my main concern was keeping down a job,
Yes.
making sure that there was money coming in and all of that. So I rang my boss straight away, because I couldn't ring Clodagh and tell her, she had her own experiences with family members having cancer and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
She's very soft. She's a brilliant girl,
Yeah.
She's really, really the most kindest, sweetest girl I've ever met. And it was so hard to break it to her, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I couldn't make it all about me because of my family, that's just who I am. And I rang the boss, and he was like, do you have it? Because I was telling him I was going,
Right, okay.
you could see it,
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I have it. And he goes, right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
you assume the talk was about how can we help you, how can we support you through this tough time over the next few weeks? What can we do for you, because you're a valuable member of staff?
Well, like, I was a new member of staff, but I would have just thought, like, I'll talk to you tomorrow, like the way I say, I'll see you later, kind of thing, like. And basically went in the next day, it was 8:30 in the morning. Walked in, went into the office, and he goes, "Look, I'm gonna have to let you go." He
Yeah.
goes, "I'm gonna need someone reliable." And he goes, "Reliable?" I was like, "I'm here every day." So
So
I guess the day that we had was a booked day off but it was booked.
But yeah, because you bring it when it's locked anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So you go from suddenly being reliable, turning up for work on time, knowing job orders, knowing parts, getting well into the job to understand the whole thing. And because you got diagnosed with something, misdiagnosed, but still you've been
Yeah.
diagnosed first,
Yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
declared,
yeah, yeah.
he decides you're now unreliable. So you need to go.
Yeah. And like I was sitting there, obviously it was bad enough that I was under the
Oh
assumption.
yeah, I can
I
imagine.
had this and told that I'm losing my job. And I'm like, I've been through a lot of stuff over the years.
Yeah,
Like the tears had left me, you know.
yeah,
I hadn't cried for years.
yeah.
And I made the ball in my throat. I was sitting there, I couldn't even argue when I was being told that. I had to just leave.
With pure shock.
Went,
You weren't expecting that.
I was about to literally collapse into tears, you know, like,
Yeah.
like a baby I was,
Yeah.
you know, because it was like the whole rug had just been pulled from under me, you know. My life was just crumbling down after I'd spent so long building myself up, you know, and getting myself into a good place, and it was like, why am I being smited down now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely madness.
Um,
And so from there, you've now lost your job,
yeah,
right? Probably very little savings,
no savings.
no savings.
Yeah.
And now we have a problem, rent coming up and other stuff coming up.
Well, I was paid weekly.
You're paid weekly, right?
Well,
Okay,
you
so
know yourself,
yeah.
that's
Well, being paid monthly is good because you plan a month, but when you're paid weekly, you plan everything just by days ahead.
yeah,
So you know you have everything gone on Thursday, well, I get paid Friday.
yeah.
Where monthly you sort of you get the habit of drawing it out, but weekly, yeah, it's even worse.
And see, it's worse if it's usually Monday to Thursday sort of thing.
Yes.
So when you're sacked on a Friday,
Yeah.
you get one day.
And did
You
you
get
get
that
any?
one day in lieu, you know.
Is that all you got paid? You didn't get an extra week's wages or anything a day?
No. And then what had happened was we was left about 6 weeks before we'd got my turn, like, you know, the paper that says your employment has been terminated
Yeah.
to go on social
Was it
welfare.
P45? Yeah.
So I think it's called something different now.
Oh, is it?
Tax
Okay.
deduction.
So
I know we thought it was that as well, but it's called something else. But yeah, basically to get the letter of termination, I was left 6 weeks, and it turned to a thing where I drove down and lost the rag, you know, and not something that I wanted to do, but I was.
You needed to have money coming in. You have no money coming in unless you have this
I
piece of
couldn't even
paper.
go down and sign on, you know.
Right.
I couldn't, like, there was nothing coming up, you know yourself. You're going applying for jobs. You have to apply for about 1,000 of them before you even get an interview, you know. And so at that stage, then went through we to go, like, you know, there was no.
You couldn't pay the rent.
Couldn't
You
pay
couldn't
the rent.
stay.
And couldn't pay the rent. Couldn't it was pay the rent or like feed ourselves or like, you know, like there's no way.
No, there
was no way for us to do it.
And so when were you diagnosed that it wasn't? How soon after that were you told it wasn't milk cancer?
It was, so all of that happened the end of December, and then it would have been about February, at the end of February, by the time we had gotten my appointment in the, you know, dental hospital down
I do, yes, I know well.
University dental hospital there.
Yeah.
Because like I had no medical card, no insurance, no nothing. So I was sent to the medical, the university hospital there, and they went in. They said, "Oh, we'll have to take forward a look at it. Here's our appointment." I think it was another month or so down the line. So it was April before I got they cut it off.
Oh, did it?
Cut it out.
So it's gone.
Cut it out.
Couldn't see it now. Okay.
And then obviously they did a biopsy and they had to test it and all of that.
Yeah.
It was May time before I even
They
found out that it was going. Yeah. So it like so once it was cut out, I was like, right, stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And at this time now, you're homeless.
Oh yeah, already homeless. Yeah.
You haven't got a new job.
No.
Right.
Well, see, this is the thing. We couldn't go back to work because, like, when you're going into.
Oh, because you still thought you had cancer.
No, so, no, because we were in homeless accommodation is cutthroat. Like, it's not just a walk in the park or anything like that. My girlfriend is 5'1".
Right.
She was raised in Dalkey. You know, she comes from a nice family and good background and all of that. Soft as anything, gentle as anything.
Yeah.
Not used to what you're saying in homeless accommodation. And I know these are family hubs. When you're a family, you're right. But the things you're saying, is bananas, and the things you're exposed to, you know,
Right.
with the rampant drug addiction. And now look at that, that's rich coming from me.
No, but still,
It was way
Yeah,
worse than anything.
but you cleaned up direct, so you wanted to
Yeah,
get as far away from that
yeah, and
environment completely.
it's a different sort of drug.
And were you like were you guaranteed a place every night, or you had to be there
No,
by a certain
we were
time to get a
sleeping
place?
out of the car. Well, myself and Clodagh were sleeping out of the car for probably 3 weeks. So my mother's house, small 3 bedroom house in Finglas,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm the oldest of 5 kids.
Right,
Plus
okay.
my mum, stepdad, then that would have been Clodagh and Éabha.
Right, okay.
Right, so that would have
So
been 10 of us.
packed house.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like there was literally nowhere to stay,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we left Éabha in with my ma during the night. We used to go in during the
Yeah.
day or whatever,
Yeah.
make a bit of
And
food.
so Ada was
clean
staying
up.
with your mum, so she was staying
Éabha
in
was staying
a
up,
safer
yeah.
environment.
And
While
then
you
we
were in the
were
homeless accommodation.
we were
Oh, no?
sleeping in the car because you have to. So there's the whole thing with the how long it was drawn out for me to get onto social welfare. Then we weren't on the housing list, right? Never said. My man had always said when you move out, you know, go on it in case you know in case you need it or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you had a different
whatever.
plan. You had a different plan.
We was like, yeah, whatever, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
what do you know, you know?
Yeah, you were going a different direction.
Yeah, and so there was the whole getting onto the housing list, dealing with Dublin City Council, which is a nightmare, right?
Right, okay.
That took a couple of weeks. You have to present yourself as homeless, and that's another thing then as well, because you need your housing number, your housing
Okay.
application, all of this. And then we were finally put on we got a interview with accommodation.
Oh, right, okay.
So they got somewhere for us, and I mean it was like a prison setting. Like, there was a bunk bed and a toilet. There was nothing else in it, and obviously the girls. And now listen, around to stay is around to stay. But
Yeah, yeah.
don't mind the room, whatever. It was the people that were hanging around it.
Yeah.
It's not a safe environment,
No.
but like especially. I'm alright, we come from Finglas West. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I grew up seeing
There's
everything.
toughness around you.
So
you have a bit of toughness around you, so you can
Yeah.
you
Not
know.
even that, but I'm used to seeing things.
Yeah,
And it's exposed
yeah.
a lot more in things than someone
There's
who's
God.
never seen any of that,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
They've never had
absolutely.
to grow up with any of that, you know? But it's not like what you want a family around.
Yeah.
It's not, you shouldn't have to be worrying, or well, my partner can't even go and bring the baby for a walk, or, you know, like, you're minding yourself coming in the gates and all of that sort of
Yeah.
thing. So, weeks and weeks, ringing Park Street, like, look, like, this can't do this, you know?
Mhm.
We eventually got put into a place up in Whitehall there, which was an ex-Magdalen laundry. Right?
Really?
Same one Sinead O'Connor was in.
Oh, right, okay.
And I found out it was the same one my great grandmother was in 56 years ago.
You're joking.
Yeah, because I told me nanny.
Imagine
Like,
things-
we're after getting
it's
moved.
full
This is a
circle.
great place.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe
Yeah.
that
it's
is
full
it.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said it to me nanny. I was like, God, you should see this place now. The facilities, savage,
Fantastic. Yeah.
fantastic. And when I told me nanny we were going there, she was like, no way. She goes, you couldn't be. And I told her and I showed her on the maps, and she goes, that's where your granny was. But we, like, when me nanny made her communion, man, she was up there.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
God, that was you don't realise how small things are, but that's a full circle.
Mad,
Yeah.
right? And it was great at the start. There was a lovely man managed there, and you know anything that was needed or done, he came up and he looked after
And
himself.
was the little
There
one
was staff.
living there then? Was little one still
Little
living at
one,
home?
no, little one was with us the whole time
Right,
from
okay.
when we started going into emergency accommodation.
Right, okay.
You know, she's a baby who never couldn't leave her. Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand that. Yeah.
We got into that place, great facilities, you know, we did it, double bed and a cot and all of that, and it was brilliant.
Right, okay.
Management kind of changed then a couple of months in, and the place just started to go to.
And when you say management, was that managed by an outside
It's an
company?
it's an NGO, but
Right, okay.
they have a couple of facilities, and
Right.
they've individuals that manage them then,
Right,
and they've
okay.
staff were great and done all they could, but obviously they're limited what they can do by people managing.
Yeah.
So the person who came in was completely unqualified. There was a cockroach infestation came in.
Okay.
Where the staff member that was doing stuff around women and children that they shouldn't have been doing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Right. It's terrible, yeah.
months and months of reporting that sort of stuff.
Before it was actually tackled.
Nothing was done.
Nothing was happening.
It was
And
only
is it
there
asked,
after
we're in, we're in,
fucking 2
we're in
months.
2025 and we still have all these stories about people doing things with women and children,
Yeah.
and people still are surprised about it. And even the system where people reporting it, the system still doesn't run or work
Well, I
fast
tell
enough.
you what happens, right? So you report that to Dublin City Council.
Yeah.
Dublin City Council gets in contact with the line manager there.
Right. Okay.
So,
So it's back to where that.
so what happens is the line manager says, no, no, none of this is happening and all, and
Yeah.
the
But there's
politics.
no independent investigation.
And then Dublin City Council gets back to you and says, look, if this is unsatisfactory, get on to the ombudsman. You get on to the ombudsman. The ombudsman will only deal with Dublin City Council, but these are NGOs.
Okay.
So it's a grey area of operation, right?
Right.
It took months and months and months of getting in contact with TDs. No one cared. It came down to me going through all of their brochures and their booklets on, because they're NGOs and they do with the house building and all that.
Yeah, and how great
And
the
how
place
great
is.
they are.
Yeah.
And, so I went through, got all their policies, everything. I used ChatGPT to help me break down everything and make a case against them,
Yeah.
catching them out on everything, quoting them and everything. This went on for months.
Yeah.
And eventually got a politician then. They wanted to jump on board. And it was luckily they came up and seeing firsthand
What was happening?
how people were being treated, the sort of stuff that was going on. They were ran off the property.
The politician was.
Yeah.
The TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I assume this is from one of the major parties.
Yeah, I think she was Fianna Fáil or Fianna
And
Gael.
they'll run out, and they're probably
And then-
they're in government.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she knew then what was going on.
Yeah.
It ended up, I was reporting for months. I even had a meeting with Dublin City Council. I was like, look, because you have done your
Yeah.
reporter. Here's what's going on and what
Yeah.
you're not saying. And all I was doing was asking for basic human rights.
Yeah,
Like,
to
it
get
was
it
getting
cleaned
to a
up,
point where you're
so that you
right
can live there
on it.
safely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can, and then
It was the safety of children.
Yeah.
It was neglect of the safety of children at one point,
yeah,
and I just wanted was safety for the kids.
Yeah.
There was open drug use. There was crack and heroin being smoked in the landings around
Right.
children.
Yeah.
It was getting very bad.
And then to move on then to, you're still in homeless accommodation.
Oh yeah, we're in a safer place now.
You're in a better place.
Yeah.
But and here's the interesting thing: like a lot of people in homeless accommodation. Well, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm not experienced enough in this. Like they're earning money from the state. They're trying to get work, but you actually gone one step further in that you've gone and set up your own company.
Because there's no supports.
Right.
No.
So your way of getting out, which is what most entrepreneurs do, they want to make a living for their family and make things better and make a better life for themselves. And it's not even about the money. It's just create more opportunities and trying to survive for everybody. So you've gone. So you're still in homeless accommodation, which is very important to point out.
Yeah.
And as you were saying a few minutes ago, you are doing the distribution of the product, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, from the homeless accommodation, right? And
fulfillment, design, everything.
All from there.
Yeah.
All from there. So the whole business. So like the business is children's all-in-ones. They're
sleep suits at the moment. Yeah. So
yeah. So and what made you, like, of all the products you could have bought, coffee shops, pens, runners, why did you pick that product?
I think it was the love of me that, like, she's my best friend. I love her so much, and she went through. We managed to get under control. She suffered with eczema from the time she was born, and
Right.
me and like,
This is your partner.
Me daughter.
Your
Both
daughter.
me and my partner actually suffer from
I had
eczema.
it well. I had it pretty bad as a kid, and it turned out it was cornflakes and tomatoes.
It's a diet.
Yeah, really.
Anything, good health comes out through it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and my granddaughter has a small bit as well. And it's very prevalent. So you saw your daughter that
back when Clodagh had a good job, we had a good job.
Yeah.
Clodagh was on paid maternity leave. I was making about $5.50 a week.
Right.
My job.
Yeah.
It's minimum wage now nearly.
Yeah.
But
still,
when
at
at the time, we were like, it was great.
Yeah.
Éabha's skin was so bad. Like she patches of open skin. Like nearly,
okay.
it was raw head to toe. Her neck, God bless her, she'd wake up in the morning and there'd be blood around from scratching.
Yeah.
She was only a couple of months old.
Yeah.
And so at the time we changed, I started researching, we changed the nappies to bamboo and the nappies were organic and free from chemicals and stuff like that.
Right.
They were great, but then obviously still has our skin.
Yeah.
So done a bit of research then, obviously shopping pennies, you shopping
Yeah.
loans. A lot of this stuff is polyester. Polyester is plastic.
That's right.
Right, a
Yeah.
lot of it now is actually recycled polyester. Again, even more that washed with so many harsh chemicals.
Yeah.
And if you get down to a kind of microscopic basis, there's like prongs that come out of the, if you look at it under a microscope,
All right.
there's prongs that come out of the fabric. Might look smooth, but
Onto your skin.
so when your skin heats up, like at
Yeah.
night, you
Yeah.
get nice and warm,
Yeah.
your pores are opening. These are coming in and leaching chemicals in through your skin,
Okay.
causing irritation.
And if you already has eczema and you have open wounds,
Yeah.
the last thing you want is something like that.
So
So they make it even
scratching
worse.
non-stop, and like she was bloody herself and all of that, and we were like, what we doing? So we ended up, started buying the organic stuff, organic cotton, and found bamboo.
Right.
Super soft,
Yeah.
lovely stuff, and we were getting the Ecotech certified stuff, so it meant it was free from over 1,000 chemicals, all of that sort of thing. And but we were paying mad money.
Yeah.
The price
It's not cheap.
it's not cheap. Well,
No.
here's the thing, it is cheap to bring them in.
Oh, yeah, but
Right.
the buy as a consumer,
As a
to buy it,
consumer,
it's not cheap.
it's not cheap at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
right?
same as people buying, like one of my daughters is celiac. Try and buying the gluten-free stuff.
Yeah.
Like a pound of bread could be 150. Gluten-free, it could be
Gluten-free,
450
350,
for 5
yeah.
slices.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's huge difference in the cost and price. It's the same.
It's
but
supply and demand.
it is, but there's also, I think, there's a lot of opportunity for people. I would think
But
opportunity to
the
make
thing-
money on it.
We didn't know back then. We hadn't done any research into setting up the business or anything like that. But like two of us were making money,
Yeah.
so we could afford. So to close your child, like you probably do say 7 sleep suits, 7 vests. You probably do 2 vests a day,
Yeah.
whatever. To do that organically, buying through brands, you're looking at €400-500 every time your child goes up
In size.
in size.
Yeah, because remember, we're talking about a child who's grown.
And Éabha grows.
Yeah.
Like we always kept her on a good diet. She's a whole organic diet. She's on the goat's milk. She doesn't get anything bad.
Yes.
And I mean, she is huge.
Okay.
She's huge. She's deadly. Like.
Yeah.
So, like we were able to afford it at the time, and obviously then when we went homeless, we couldn't afford
Yeah.
anything really.
And the social
we
welfare,
had to go back.
social welfare won't help you out with that.
No.
And medical care won't help you out with that because it's not available on it. So
We still don't have a medical card because we've been moved so many times, and you can't get GP appointments these days. Like the GPs are full.
they are, and you have to register a GP, and you have to have your medical card, and make sure the list is not full for them to take you on. And if you keep moving and your address on the
Keep moving all of that. Like we've no medical card. Like we're getting no supports. We get our one family payment.
Yeah.
Which is now changed to job seeker self-employed because I basically self-employed.
Yeah.
So they review me books every now and again and see if I'm actually making money enough to support myself, which I'm not.
Yeah.
So having to switch over, we managed to do a good job at our team by changing it to
Right. Okay. And
the whole organic
that
oats milk.
helped bring it down.
For the most part, it's gone. She
Yeah.
get flared up. The moment, it's a bit of a flare around the neck, and I'm out. But I think that's more so to do with the heat.
Right. Okay.
Just
It's the way the weather is at the
stuff like
moment.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
So we flared up myself.
Yeah. Because it's sweating and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. For the most part, we've got it under control that way. Like that, we couldn't afford the good stuff for it
Right.
anymore. So
That brought you on the journey.
that brought me on a journey. It kind of fell into my hands. Just scrolling one night on Alibaba,
I know, yeah,
trade
yeah.
suppliers and all of that.
Yeah.
And I came across bamboo, and I was like, bringing these in for $5-6. And I was like, no way. So I had a look, right? And then I'd done a bit more research. Then I found out there's 0% VAT on baby clothes.
That's right. Yeah.
So when you're paying 30 odd euros, 35 euros a sleep suit, that's robbery.
It
Parents
is.
have a
Yeah.
hard enough job as it is, right?
Yeah.
Especially, like, imagine you're a single mother, or you're a single father, or
all that stuff.
like
is lost.
even without that, you could be working a great job, you and your partner, maybe you have a mortgage, maybe you're paying rent. Like, money is not.
No, people think because once you have a mortgage and that come into it, the disposable income is still low.
We know
It's
people
still
that
low.
are on 40,000-50,000 euros, and they've their mortgage, and they've their kids and their rent and all, or their bills and all of that. And they're using fuel banks.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter like
No, it
what
doesn't.
like how good paying your job
Yeah.
is. Cost of living is
Well, I was
ridiculous.
only report this morning. We are now the second most expensive country in Europe. Denmark is just ahead of us. Now we are one of the, I think, the third highest
GDP.
in paying wages,
Yeah.
in wage income. But but
But
on
see,
the other
our
side, like,
GDP is inflated by big pharma and big
oh,
tech.
completely. Like if you look at the
Inflated.
corporation take,
Mm.
like a massive portion of the corporation take is all the pharmaceutical companies and the Facebooks and all that in here. 4 to 5 of them
Massively
companies.
inflated our
Yeah, if
GDP.
they left tomorrow, we're snookers.
We're probably one of the poorest countries
Yeah,
in the
but
world if you look at it. If you look at it without the big.
but it's interesting. Like the biggest and the most expensive items, according to the paper this morning, is food and drink.
Yeah.
Food and drink are the most expensive, and then you're down to clothes.
Mhm.
It, they're fairly expensive as well. But like
Even pennies isn't pennies anymore.
no, it
Pennies
isn't.
is tenors now. Tenors
Yeah,
and 15 that's
yeah.
dollars.
It
You
used,
know
it used to
it's
be 2 or 3 quid for a t-shirt, and it was 7, 8, 9, 10 quid
yeah,
for the same t-shirt.
yeah,
It's climbed up in price,
yeah.
and well, and we were talking to someone last week actually. Richie who owns here. It's because of the war in Ukraine, supply chain. It's making everything more
You
expensive
know
to
what?
bring
It's
stuff in.
great. It's great from the politicians. It's
Yeah,
not that's all spoof just used to cover people's arses. That's
you think so?
absolutely. Do you know, you look at right, Tesco makes. I was saying something, man. I think they made over 1.6 billion in profit last year.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah, huge
They're,
money.
they're like, right, we understand you're a business with
Yeah,
investors. You need to make profit,
yeah.
right? 1.6 billion euros was probably enough to feed
Oh, a lot of countries, a lot of people.
probably most of it. I think
Yeah.
I think the figure is something like 3 billion or something would end homeless or starvation for a year.
Yeah, and I spent a lot of time in the UK, and you can see even in the UK, the cost of living crisis has hit very hard over there,
Yeah.
very hard. And you see an amount of shops on the high street that are empty are gone.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking the big brands, but the normal shops
Yeah.
that are just gone, and amount of
Because
empty outlets.
they've kind of funneled out mom and pop stores.
They
You
have,
know,
yeah,
it's all corporatized now.
yeah. Well, you can't compete like on certain products. You can't compete against Tesco or Sainsbury's or Waitrose or Dunn's or something.
The
No, you
volumes
just
they're bringing
yeah, you
in
just can't
is,
compete.
you know,
Yeah,
and even like if you want to buy organic, right,
yeah.
you can't even get a pound of organic. So I buy the organic mince, buy as much organic as I can, right?
Right, okay.
380 grams of organic mince is a fiver in Lidl. Right, so you're not even getting a full pound,
Yeah, okay.
right? If you like even the non-organic stuff, it's gone absolutely mad. It
Man,
used to be about €3 for a pound
yeah,
of decent
yeah.
mince.
Well, I have a because I go to the UK, I like Greggs sausage rolls.
Yeah, yeah,
And when I
yeah.
was over there during the pandemic, over there, my daughter was going to college over there. I was spending a lot of time in a hotel on my own nearly. They're all a pound.
Yeah.
Then it went up to 110.
Yeah.
Went up to 120. Everyone and it's a sign that you can see 130. That's 30 to 40% increase in that one product in probably 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And if you lay that on other stuff, on all other shopping, it's gone to the roof. So you found organic clothes for your little one, and you decided, right, here's a business.
Yeah.
Here's a business. I can bring this stuff in. I'm not going to put the margin up by massive and be greedy because all your stuff is priced around the €15 mark, which is very, very reasonable compared to other stuff.
Well, 10 to 15 euros cheaper than any other brand in Europe.
Are you?
Than any other brand.
Right. And in Ireland, like getting the message out there, like how first of all, how is the business going for you working from a homeless working like you have the backstory which is your homeless and all that, but that which is fantastic. But you still have to try and market the business and get out there.
Yeah.
Are you? It's a door still been open for you. Like, is there funding available to help you develop? No.
No, so I have been. So I went and I done Enterprise Ireland's New Frontiers.
Yeah.
Got through phase one, and I met my mentor Colin Keogh, who he's a brilliant guy. He's taught me so much. I made good connections out of that, and I got some good insights, and there was lectures and classes and stuff that we really found beneficial, really.
Right. Okay.
And even like the course coordinator, they were like, "You've more work done than half of our phase two." So when you get on phase two, that's €15,000 stipend,
Right.
tax
Okay.
free, all of that. for you to put into that business.
Right, for you to go the next step, which is what is developing the business, for further marketing, sales, all that type of stuff.
All of that, you get proper mentoring and stuff. They bring in individual mentors and stuff to support your specific business.
Okay, yeah.
And you've all of these different kind of accelerator things going on,
right? Yeah.
And I was fairly confident I had it. As well, going on optics was fourth Thomas person to walk through Enterprise Ireland's doors since 2009.
Yeah, you would have thought this is, and without this is a good story. He's also putting the work in because he's very hungry. He wants to get this done. Actually, he doesn't want to get this done. He needs to get this done, which is different than some other entrepreneurs. You've no backup.
No.
Like, you don't have someone you can fall back on, or they do something. So it's a case of you need to have this.
That is the only funding option available for early stage startups.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a social enterprise, again, NGOs, they love fun and all of that kind of stuff. That's not what I was doing. I have social impact built into my business, but obviously that's going to take a while for me. I need to start building the brand and making it so that we can give back.
Right. Okay.
But whether you go through the LEOs, you go through Enterprise Ireland, the early stage startup grants, you need to either be trading 18 months with a turnover of €30,000.
At least.
How is that an early stage startup?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
It is, and this is the challenge. A lot of entrepreneurs come in. It's that they go for funding, and people want something that is proven. You want to have proof that it worked, but you can't really prove that it's worked because you need the cash flow or the investment to prove that it worked.
Yeah.
And they can't have it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, here's a good idea. What you need is someone that is an angel investor to say, well, okay, the backstory is fantastic. This chap is hungry as bloody hell, and he has a fantastic product with a decent margin. So what he needs now is more doors opened, more channels, and a decent bit of marketing to push the whole thing forward.
And see, here's the thing: we do have that. We've had 2 or 3 angel investors reach out to me. There's one who I'm keeping up with. She is one of Ireland's 25 most powerful women.
Right. Okay.
Big name in the construction industry and stuff. She reached out to me, looked what I was doing.
Right. Okay.
Now we keep close with her and keep her updated and stuff. For me, I've set this business up for my family. Right?
Yeah. So
we have no valuation at the moment. Right?
No, but
for me to take on angel investment now, I'm going to be giving away a big chunk of my business.
But it's come from someone who's been in business for a long time, and I think the likes of Gavin Duffy from Dragon's Den and other people say to you, "This is your first. It won't be a last."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you gave up 20% to 25% or 30%, and it got you to a stage where you're making incredible money that you can then sell and then invest in another business and start another one. Like sometimes we have to give up a good bit to get to the next step.
That's it,
but it's a challenge for you because this is your baby.
Yeah.
But being an entrepreneur, sometimes you have to
sell some
of the baby.
Well, that's it. Yeah, well, we call it putting off a limb, you know.
Yeah, you do, and it's hard. But again, that person, if she's top 25, probably has a black book of names of shops and all that can get you open so many doors. That's actually worth more than the investment that she put in.
They're trying to put me in contact with Disney for the licensing.
Right, okay. Oh, they put the carriages on it.
Yeah.
Fantastic idea.
Because obviously you can't use the mouse.
No, you can't use anything.
They are so on the ball. You know, they will destroy your small business. There's loads of small businesses that
they have the money to pay solicitors and lawyers and you'd be running around forever down the high
trawlers. They trawl through the internet.
Yeah, looking for stuff.
And they will destroy it. Now like that, if we got on board with Disney, it would probably be costly because obviously you have to do the licensing. But they sell themselves.
They do sell themselves, yeah. So do you see yourself bringing in an angel investor?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's right for me at this stage. I need to stay small, grow lean. Look, I was hoping with that we'd be able to get the grants and stuff like that, build myself up. Now, look, at the moment, like I've put a lot of pressure on myself because it's since last year that I've been working on this business.
Yeah.
And then when I got to the point where I set it up, I was like, this is, I've put an awful lot of stress on myself, but things are growing. Like I'm doing great. I've sold out my first batch of stock within less than 2 months.
And you have a fantastic website. The website is really well laid out,
Yeah.
and the images are very clear. It's because it's Shopify, it's secure and it's easy. One click,
Easy to
2 clicks to
use.
buy. It's fantastic.
It's easy for me to operate as well, which is
Which is
great.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah.
And so the first lot's sold out.
First lot sold out.
You have another lot coming in. You're also hoping. You're not live in the TikTok shop yet, or are you live in TikTok there?
So the account is being set up. I'm just waiting on the verification.
Right. Okay. Then you're going to go on that. So
yeah.
So if there's business people here, and mums and dads who have children and all that, and they're saying, right, why should they buy your stuff rather than someone else's? Like, what's the selling pitch?
Well, here's the thing. I'm not doing anything different than any other organic brand or hypoallergenic brand, right? I'm just not robbing you.
Right.
I'm solving the issue of affordability of hypoallergenic materials for children who suffer from severe skin conditions.
Right.
So ideally, I'm looking at the parents who, like me, were relying on this type of material day in, day out.
Yeah.
This is a luxury. Even at €15, it's still expensive.
Oh, it is? Yeah. But you're solving a massive problem with your child.
People who need this the whole time.
Yeah.
So if you're a parent or a caregiver of a child with eczema, like you're spending and like you're going to be cutting back on a lot of personal expenses to combat the eczema or psoriasis or butterfly skin.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, the skin condition, you know. So ideally, I'm solving a big issue for these people.
Right. Okay.
You know?
Yeah. And like there's a lot of kids in Ireland, a lot of kids in the UK, a lot of kids elsewhere with this type of condition.
1 in 5 are born with eczema. Right, so 52 to 54,000 babies born per year in Ireland. That's nearly 20,000 babies born every year with eczema. Now, obviously, severity levels depend.
Yeah.
In England, I think it works out as something like 200,000 babies or 140,000 babies.
Right.
In Europe, as a whole, there's about 1.7 million babies born every year with eczema, a severe skin.
Yeah. So the market is huge.
Market's
and
huge.
You can see why any investors be interested. So I noticed the one thing I noticed on your website. When people say the baby grows, my wife's going to say to me, "You're stupid. You had 3 kids, but you're going up to age 3 or 4,
up to 4 years old now. This new batch. So
I saw that.
Started off with blanks from the supplier.
Right. Okay.
Right, their own prints. They weren't my prints. Whatever. Right. This was the only way that we could actually get in. So I started off with 150 pieces. They said, "Here,
right.
There's an MOQ for minimum order quantity for your own custom pieces."
Yeah.
We couldn't afford that at the time.
Right, so you went with their whatever they had on there.
Yeah, and what we done was rebranded them myself, my own custom hang tags. We added on little gooses onto the sleeves, you know, so that it wasn't like, all right, well, I just reselling it. It was still my own. It was still my own baby.
So you've added tags in the back. You've added the Goosey Goo, the packaging is made for you.
It was the packaging, so it was just Myla bags with these fellas on here. Brought a few Goosey.
Oh yeah, very good. Okay,
for you actually.
We say they look really. That looks really well.
I'm
in TikTok looking at it. That looks really well. Yeah, I like
obviously
that.
You've got your shipping label, your houses.
Yeah.
At the moment, so today is when the new stock lands. So we'll be going straight from here up to me mother's to check it out.
Yeah.
And so this new batch is full custom in-house run. All the designs are by myself.
So you sent over designs to this crowd manufacturing, and so designs are so you don't have to start sticking these on yourself. No, so you don't have to start doing the labels. It's all ready to go.
All come in ready to go. Full custom in-house designs. That means so we don't do any actual physical labels because it's an issue. Skin and all that. And so we've our own custom heat sealed labels, Goosey Goo branded, everything. They're ready to go. We could put them in shops for one.
And your first lot of sales. When did you sell in your first lot?
150.
150, and this lot now you've another 150 coming in.
Yeah.
And how long before?
Oh, sorry, no, we've 400 pieces coming in now.
Right, and how long did it did it take you to sell out 150?
Less than 2 months.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, what are you hoping on this 400?
Well, the market. So we got a 3x3 gazebo, fully branded.
Yeah, in not Marley Park, you know,
Herbert Park.
Herbert Park.
Reason for Herbert Park is obviously it's Dublin 6 or maybe it's Dublin 4.
Yeah.
It's big money out there, right?
Yeah.
But from every time I've went out, the amount of family football
It's huge, yeah.
is huge.
Because I go to St. Anne's every week.
Oh, that's where I'm going to get in on
St.
Saturday,
Anne's,
yeah. St. Anne's is the
it's
dream.
fantastic.
St. Anne's is the dream.
Yeah, and it's always the same people there, and
It's family oriented. Where do you go on a Saturday
it's
with your family?
It's all young kids on little bikes,
Yeah.
or with the dogs and all that. It's all family.
Yeah.
All family.
And see, the thing is as well, people in these higher income areas, they are more conscious of what they put on their children,
Yes, of course.
what they're feeding their children,
They have disposable income to actually be more concerned and actually to buy it, to do it. And have you done the market yet?
No, so obviously I was waiting on the new stock to come in and waiting on the gazebo to land. I'll sort out the insurance then. Obviously, I'm very meticulous with what's left in the account after I paid a good bit of money out for the stock.
Right,
then
okay.
I take get the gazebo, and then I got hit with customs, which I didn't think I was supposed to.
Oh, you had custom charges on the stock?
Not on the stock, on the gazebo.
Oh, right,
So,
okay.
Look, it wasn't a whole lot, but I'm down to very limited funds at the moment. So it was kind of cutting in. Now I have a couple of pre-orders and stuff like that, and then obviously the stock landed today. Wasn't expecting it till the end of the week. It means I can get the pre-orders out, and I can run another ad now, and start driving traffic to the website now that they're available to buy.
And where are you advertising?
So we've actually only started running ads on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's actually been doing very well.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, my stuff was pre-order, which will drive away some customers.
Yeah, because some people want it right away.
Want it now.
Yeah. But the good thing with the website is you can actually say to people, you won't have it for 14 days.
Well, that was it. 14 days was what we had done.
Yeah.
So I always give myself longer than
just in case.
Yeah. So people are expecting the 30th. It's now what are we at the
22nd or 23rd or
24th? Oh, 24th.
Yeah.
That's easier. So we'll have them sent out now in the morning.
Right, and of that 400 new items you got in, how many are pre-sold?
16 orders, but them orders have multiples in them. So
right, fantastic.
So a few sold out.
So anybody listening now, if they want to get in.
They will be on because I'll be in the markets now as well. I'll be doing TikTok shop.
Right.
It's not gonna last.
No, well, you hope. It won't last. You're not gonna be far off where you're gonna hit the 30,000 plus turnover, and you're gonna be ordering 1,000 items at a time. It'll go to a whole new level. Yeah. It'll go to a complete whole new level.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. That's what happens when you're recording live. Yeah. So it's gonna go to a whole new level.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping. Yeah, we've done an order for a couple of teddies.
Yeah, I saw that. You're going to be... So is it teddies or the goose?
It's goose teddies, yeah.
Right.
I have to keep on brand. It's...
Oh, yeah, you must keep on brand, yeah.
But just for me, I think it makes sense.
Oh, good. And one of the best people I saw on branding was, you won't remember him. It was Stephen Brewer. And Stephen's a friend of mine. Stephen Brewer was Aircell.
Yeah.
The mobile phone company, one of the first ones. I went to his office once.
Yeah.
And when I was running it, we had bought Indigo. We were running Indigo. And Stephen is one of the best brand people in the world. Everything from the minute you walk in the door of his office was the Aircell brand colours, including the bins.
Yeah.
Right. And he never went off brand.
Yeah.
And he just never went off. He never went off brand.
Yeah.
Never went off brand. Which is fantastic.
Well, I think it's important because the more it's in your face, it's imprinting something on.
Oh, it is.
Brands.
Oh, yeah. And they recall it very quickly.
Stickers now.
Yeah.
Going around here, putting them all over the place. Because
yeah.
I've done it in Finglas, where I'm from. And fella came up to me and he was like, "What are you saying?" He was like, "What's the story? I'm seeing that everywhere, you know."
Yeah.
And it's just another way of kind of marketing yourself, keeping yourself in the brain of potential customers, you know.
Yeah. No, and like people even walk into the store, even all our kids who are like, whether it's Lululemon or whatever, what it is, like it's the brand, and they can tell, like they can like one of my children worked for Lululemon. The one was in Ralph Lauren. She never wanted to go into sales. She went into sales, and she was in the UK, and she was the top seller in Europe with Ralph Lauren. But people go and they can tell the brand. My kids can tell someone's wearing some thing, and
it's creating a brand identity.
Yeah, and people who have children will tell you by even the prams. That's such a pram.
Yeah.
Such a pram. A pram to me was a pram,
And
but they
that's
can
why it's
tell all that.
important to keep on brand,
Oh,
is
yeah, it's very
creating the
important.
identity,
Yeah,
because people are now, and that's kind of why I went with these little fellas here.
yeah, they're fantastic,
I've
and it
moved away
sticks
from
out.
them now for this new. I had to get them for previous products. A couple of issues then, falling off and stuff in the
Right,
wash,
okay.
and it was just a disaster for
Right,
me.
but they're coming in pre-done now, so you don't have that
Very
worry.
done. It's all branded up. I had to had to have a way of branding the early product.
Yes,
Otherwise I was no different than anyone else.
yeah,
Whereas now, fully branded up, coming in,
which is
and
fantastic.
so
Yeah. So what do you so what's the next 6 months for you? Like, where do you want? What do you want? Like, we're sitting down in 6 months' time. What do you hope the story will be?
well, I'm hoping in 6 months' time I'm at a place where at least I can top myself up a bit. I can pay myself. Hopefully, maybe be out of homeless accommodation.
Is that
Fingers
is
crossed.
that a big thing?
It's a
you
lot of
need to get
pressure.
out of there.
It's a lot of
But to
pressure.
get out of there,
It's
you
not
need to,
safe.
yeah.
Like, no matter what way it is, like, yeah, living in, like, even when it's safe, there's still like police coming through, going looking for different people. They all have their own problems. There's domestic violence in these places.
Okay.
Like, you're living in a house with 17 different families. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't actually have anything that's your own.
That's yours.
That's,
You don't have a
a
hall door
place
or a
to
door that's
but
yours.
it could be gone at any day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The council could say, all right, look, we're moving you here. Like, there's no security or safety in it.
So you don't know today if you're going to be there next Monday. They could ask you to go to a
Could
new
actually
place,
be.
and you can't say no. Otherwise, you don't offer anything else.
No, you'd be,
So you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
no, and look, they're quite all part and parcel, but yeah, uprooting yourself. We've been in 3 different parts of Dublin in the past year, like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
there's nowhere, can't put word in crash.
Of course, no, because you're not in the same place. So
You're
you could be on
constantly,
Dublin one, and then over in Dublin four, or Dublin five. So like you can't, like, yeah. So
it's just,
it seems we all,
yeah, basically,
thankfully we
Maslow's hierarchy in it.
yeah,
Your basic needs aren't being met. So how can,
yeah,
like, it's very hard to progress. It's hard for me to manage the family, and like,
yeah.
yeah, dealing with the stress of being home. Obviously, then money comes into it here. Money's always the biggest stress. So
Yeah.
you're dealing with being on very little
And
money, and then you're trying to run a business and do all of this stuff on top of it.
yeah, in one hand, like, it's good to say, like, I don't have that experience, but you have that experience, but you're trying to just move the whole thing forward. And most people listening here won't have that
Like,
experience.
ideally for me now in the next
They won't understand, like,
we'll have 2 markets going.
right. So
So I'll
the hope for
have
St. Anne's,
hoping for
the hope for
St. Anne's on the Saturday, 100%.
yeah,
Herbert, or if Herbert works out. If it doesn't, I'll be in the market on the Sunday,
yeah,
and anyways,
yeah.
hopefully I have the whole weekend done the
So,
market.
and do hopefully do decent sales there, which will give you the income, and the rest of the week, Monday to Friday,
Yeah.
chasing shops, chasing the online sales,
Yeah.
and growing the business that way.
Hopefully open up into wholesale. I'm trying to work out a line of credit with the supplier.
Right.
Now I'm not gonna bother pull the trigger on it until I know that I'm gonna start building,
Well,
garnering interest for wholesale.
well, one of the chaps you talk to is, he won't mind me saying so, is Richie in here.
Yeah.
Because Richie also wholesales, and he's fantastic connections, fantastic businessman, and it's someone like him. Now, he's all the suits and the high quality suits that we see here
Yeah.
that do all weddings
Great,
and stuff like that.
right,
They actually did my wedding, and my son's just walking in. He's wearing the jacket now because he knows I want one. And the whole thing is, someone like him might give you the pointers. I might have the notebook to say, right, ring this person, because I know Rich is in Brown Thomas and stuff.
Yeah,
It would help you. So you need to tap into
So
these people.
ideally now it'd be expanding on the stock, because I'm very limited. Although I've only sleeve suits at the moment.
Yeah.
You need vests, and you
do.
need some
But your cash flow
towels,
determine what you buy.
Exactly. So when find that at a stressful stage where it's like, right, now into market, it's going to be down the TikTok shop, all of that. I know 400 pieces sounds like a lot, but
Well,
it's not
you'd
in
be
the
hoping,
scheme of
like, what would
things.
you be hoping the market can sell on one day?
Look, the markets can either be really good or really bad.
Yes, yeah.
Being the only person doing what I'm doing, and the only person with a fully branded gazebo and the flags and all the
Yeah.
9 yards for it, plus high family footfall, hoping maybe it's starting now. I'll be hoping to do maybe 25 products a day.
Right, okay.
a
Yeah.
weekend.
A weekend, yeah.
That
But
how
the grow is suddenly
that grows
up to 100 on each site
will
or
be.
more.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like your 400 is only a week stock.
Yeah, well, look, you see, I'll be doing a bit of kind of marketing around being in the markets then as
Yeah,
well, to
yeah.
drive people to it. I'm getting a goose costume.
Very good.
This thing's huge. It's 3 meters tall. It's inflatable.
I used to wear them. I used to play centres, and I found a lady in Ballyferma who made these things. Yeah, but huge.
Yeah.
And I used to wear it. They're not like they're warm inside.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
But
it's not for the summer.
but
Not for the summer.
they
Yeah.
draw attention.
But this is the thing.
Fantastic.
You know what I mean?
Draw attention.
I might look like a dog doing it.
No.
At the end of the
Draws
day,
attention.
when broaden attention, say, "Oh, what's that Egypt doing?"
Yeah, well, Richard Branson jumps airplanes and he does all of the funny stuff to
Yeah.
push the brand. Like there's nothing wrong with it if he gets the sales and in the
That's
door.
it, that,
Yeah.
So it's kind of now at the moment for me, it's cash flow.
Yeah.
Like to meet up the stock demands. Say like what I've noticed now is the neutral colours still the best, right?
Right. Okay.
It's the summer.
Yeah.
They brought in a lot of colours.
Yeah.
Right. Now they're still setting, but not as fast as the neutrals. So it's kind of like I'm in the early days, still the teething phase where they figure out what's selling, what's not selling as well, so that I can, get my stock
Right, yeah.
and get it right, So
Yeah. But for every one you buy, sorry, for every one you sell, you can really buy two. And that's what it is.
well, not really, because obviously I've had to buy the gazebo of the site maintenance costs. I mean, designing the site cost me over €1,000.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have your plugins for the site then.
You do,
So-
yeah. They all add up.
They all add up.
Yeah.
Then I have the insurance for the markets. If I'm getting into the markets, I have to pay 50 quid a day, right? Which and I have to pay a month up front, so that's 200 quid.
Right.
Right.
Just for the
And
stand.
then
Then
I'm not
you need-
driving at the moment, so
Right, okay.
I have to transport all of this stuff. Probably gonna have to pay someone,
Yeah.
right? Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? All it
And
is
then you have the
cost.
insurance on top of that.
Like I bring the products in, cost me about €7 landed here. Then I've me packaging. Then I've so when you break down all your yearly costs,
Yeah.
it's you're probably looking at about another €2 on top of that, right?
Okay. Right.
So then you want to expand,
Yeah.
right? So I'm literally making no money at the moment.
Yeah.
This was always the thing. I will make money in the future.
Yeah. Well, most new businesses take at least 3 years to actually start covering themselves.
Well, I'm hoping by the end of the year, like I should still make a profit by the end of the year. It won't be much,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm hoping by the end of the year maybe to make €40,000 in profit.
All right. Fantastic.
I should still be profitable in the
Yeah.
first year. But
Yeah.
like I'm in the early phase where there's so much stuff to buy.
Yeah. It always is. Yeah.
And
Stuff coming out.
expanding and all of that. So and then as well there could be
And
things
it's managing all that stuff coming out.
managing all of that.
Yeah,
then as
which is a
well,
lot of
Yeah.
which is a lot, and it's the headspace. It's keeping the head sane, and it's
Yeah.
and yeah, it's waking up in the morning time early, wondering how you're going to pay the mobile phone bill, how you're going to pay him. I need to do this. Where's the money come from that? God, do I have the money for the stamps to get that out?
Like,
It's
there's
just
so
constant.
much cost.
It's
And like
constant.
I was putting it together and I was like, this is gonna be a money printing business. And then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, there's all these unseen costs, and I'm like,
Yeah.
am I gonna survive the next 6 months?
Yeah, it's never as simple or as straightforward for any business starting off.
No.
But so Sean, just tell me, where can they find you?
So-
What's website address?
GooseyGoo.ie, so that's GOOSEYGOO.ie. You can find me on TikTok at GooseyGoo_IE. You can find us on Instagram, GooseyGoo.ie. You can follow us on Facebook, Goosey Goo Clothing Limited. And
And Sean's also on LinkedIn. So when
LinkedIn, yes,
yeah,
Seán Fox.
yeah, and when we put this up, I'll put a link on to Sean. So if anybody's looking at this on LinkedIn also, as well as Instagram, as well, we'll put all the links to Sean's social media platforms. So if you want to click on them and go through and see the stuff is fantastic, and the price is fantastic as well. So
Best price in Ireland.
yeah, so you should definitely have a look. And Sean is someone in about 15 and 20 years time, they're going to say where he started off wasn't that fantastic, which it is fantastic. Running a business from still homeless accommodation, hoping that this will take him out of homeless and build a whole new life for him, his partner, and his daughter. Which is, yeah, like it's absolutely fantastic.
Doing
And
my
like,
best.
yeah, no. Like I mean, I'm more than you. You've a whole story that you need to get done. You've a reason for doing it, and the reason is family.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
It's love.
Yeah, the reason is family, and like, and I think it will work out for you. I think it'll go
Oh,
fantastic.
look, I think it will. I beat myself up a lot and try to push, look, where the situation I'm in, you're like, "God, look, I
Yeah.
need it now, I need the success
Yeah.
now." But at the end of the day, Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, and it will come. It will
And
come.
as well, the blood, sweat and tears that goes into it only makes the story better.
It does, yeah, absolutely. Seán,
Mark,
appreciate your
thanks
time.
very much.
Thank you very much for
Appreciate you
this.
having me on.
And to all our friends in TikTok land as well,
Yeah.
we say thank you very much. I'm going to
Thanks very much, David.